What's going on? Strat Soldier here for the weekend shift. What is going on? What is going on? How you guys doing? How are you guys doing? Good morning. Good morning, December. Good morning, December. December 2nd. And the market said, hey, you know what's funny? We had Powell talk yesterday. Twice yesterday. Good morning, everybody in the chat. We got Jason out here. We got Brent. We got John Prout. Marley B's in the house. Ryan, always here. Awesome. Bruce and Michael Moret. Very cool. Very cool. Good morning. Good morning. We had Powell talk yesterday. Yesterday twice at 11 o'clock and also at 2 p.m. And I think it had it on. I think the market had the TV on, but they turned the sound all the way down. They did not give a crap. Most of the time, they were like, "Hey, it's time. It's time to." Powell's talking. Time for the market to go down, and they're like, "Nope, we ain't trying to hear you today, Powell. You can take that. You can take that raising your rates crap on somewhere else." They did not give a crap. Oh, Jason says I got cooked. Oh man. Well, we'll whatever ticker you got in on, we'll look at it. We'll look at it live. We'll see what's going on, and we'll see what happened. Hey, I had an interesting trade on Tesla as well. Ugh, Since you started already with that, since I already read it, that's important. That's why we're here with the strats, protect our capital. Okay, so we always talk about entries. Everybody on Twitter, and it's really cool to see because we've gone 5 weeks in a row so far to the highs on SPY. Okay. And it's really cool to see a lot of stratters posting gains, posting a lot of big gains and percentages and everything else. That's really awesome. That's really awesome. But I want to warn you guys, be careful. We still trade the strat correctly, okay? We still want to get in. We want to plan our entries and we want to plan our exits, okay? If this goes against me, where am I getting out at? Where's my stops at, all right? Where's my stops? Am I a weekly trader, a day trader? Do I trade on the 60s? Do I trade 15 minutes? What do I do? Am I a monthly trader? All right. We got people out here trading quarterly signals. All right. And it's the last month of the year. So be careful. Don't try and make up all your losses in 1 month, 1 day, 1 week. All right. It's I've been caught up in that too. I'm a regular person just like you guys, and I've been caught up in that too. With with all this FOMO and everything going to the highs and green and everything like that, all right? Being a disciplined trader, it can be tough. It can be tough because one side says, this protects me when the market's choppy and nasty, but the same rules will also, maybe won't get you in something that that just goes. It just blasts to the highs and there's no clear actionable signals, all right? So. But I don't want you to just go, okay, you know what? The rules don't work. Forget the rules. Let's just start buying. Because then you're going to get wrecked, all right? I don't want you to get wrecked. And then you're going to be there at the end of the day, end of the week, end of the month going, what did I do? And then you'll be like, well, now I need to go back and I just need to follow my rules. And the whole process starts all over again. It's a cycle. You know what I mean? I'm going to follow my rules. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. And then, things don't go the way I think it should go or should go. And then, so then I forget the rules, screw the rules. I'm just going to buy and do what I need, just try to make money. And then it turns into I'm going to follow my rules. So then, it just turns into this thing. How many times are you going to go through that cycle? How many times are you going to do that? So being a disciplined trader, like I said, has its... I don't say ups and downs, but it has, like I said, those rules will get you in, it'll protect you, and it'll get you in some good wins. You know what I mean? But it also, you'll ignore things other people are making big gains on. You know what I mean? And you just have to look at it and go, you know what? Don't worry about it. Move on to the next thing. There's going to be another bus. All right. So we're going to look at your ticker, Jason. We'll look at what you traded, and we'll go over what happened with Tesla. Woo! And we'll continue. Well, we're going to continue forward. You know what I mean? You can't get worse at the strat. All you can do is get better at execution. That's all you can do. And I got that from Rob Smith himself. You know what I mean? I was at his house, and he was like, "You can't get worse at the strat. You can only get better at execution." All right. So we'll look at it. What's going on? We got everybody in here now. Angie's Prerogative is in the house. Good morning. Good morning. Wow. Overseas in the house. Randy. What's up, E? Always here. Monocrat. Ramses. What's going on? Jason. Papachilio. I'm totally making that up. And DB. What's up, man? Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. AMD, it was AMD on Wednesday. Okay, we'll look at AMD. We will do that. So let's go ahead and get to the charts. But I just wanted to start the whole show with that because it was, I mean, a lot of people are posting a lot of gains and a lot of stuff, and it's easy to get just frustrated because, you think you should be one of those guys too. So if you have your rules and your certain time frames that you trade, and, all you can do is cut your losses. Cut your losses. And look for those re-entries later on. Maybe it sets back up. You know what I mean? AMD is set up for a possible 2-2 reversal on the day for Monday. So we'll look at that. And so just cut your, we're going to do it right. We got this. We got this. Lily's the craziest right now. Crazy frustrating. Lily. All right. Let's get to it. Hey, what's up? Suave, what's up, man? I see you out there. You're doing great things too. Doing great things. All right, let's get to the charts. Here we go. When I trade with all 4 time frames up like this: the month, the week, the daily, and the 60. All right, 60. And here in TrendSpider, they do look at the 65-minute chart because, it gives you an even number of bars during the day. If that works for you, that's fine. The best thing, the biggest thing I want to emphasize with that is the Strat works on any time frame. Okay, the scenarios. Scenario 1, 2, and 3, the reversals 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, the Rev Strat, they all work on any time frame. So the Strat is fractal. Fractal meaning it works on the big time frames, all right, and it works on the smaller time frames, all right. The 15-minute, the 5-minute, it all works the same. So when you talk to other traders, and then when you see me, you know what I mean, I'm always looking at these weeklies. You notice we always talk about what's happening on the month. Right now, we are 2 up on the month on SPY, all right? We are 2 up on the week on SPY so far, all right? Looking for a 2-2 continuation next week because it could be possible exhaustion risk, but not sure. Because we're not, right here on the month, it can still keep going, all right? It has taken out all these targets here. On the week, it has taken out all these targets here. All right, but it continues to move to the highs. We are aware of exhaustion risk, but we're not afraid of it. Okay, if it reverses to the lows, we're going to be prepared. All right, and we will trade accordingly. All right, but we don't want to go, oh, it's at the top, exhaustion risk, cut everything. We don't want to do that. But if that is your plan, if that's your trade plan to take the target at 458, then that's your target. All right. So when you talk to other traders, you need to talk about what time frame you usually trade, all right? Because some people are trading 2-hour bars. Some people are trading 3-day bars. Some people are trading 2-week bars. Some people are trading, all kind of different time frames, all right? It still works. It's still a strat, but just be aware of what they're trading, all right? Some people are trading 1-minute bars. You're like, it's time to get out, time to take profits. You're like, wait a minute, hold on, this is still good. Nope. Time to take them. But then you find out later on they're trading, 1-minute bars. They got a totally different mindset than what you're doing, all right? So SPY, again, all the way at the highs, back to the highs on the month, the week, and the day. 2-2 reversal back up on the day. What is that thing? Get off of there. All right. 2-2 reversal back up on the day. Very good. That was cool to see. 2-2 reversal back up on the day. Hammer in force for the day on SPY. All right, they took them down for about, they took them down, took magnitude here, took some profits, and then right back up. Very cool. And then here's your 60s. All right, here's your 60s back to the highs. Now, again, this is what I'm talking about. All right. So if we turn on the labels for the kids in the back and we can see what's going on with our, you're like, wait a minute, there's no actionable signals into this. This is a mess. You got a 2 up, that's a shooter that went scenario 3 and then 3-2 up. You could probably take this 3-2 up right here, All right, 3-2 up. Now you're in. All right, and you're working it for the rest of the day. You know, but you also have Powell. You had Powell talking. You know, it's a little uncertain what's going to happen. So that's what I'm talking about. You know, you want to talk to people. You always want to ask people what time frame are you trading? All right. Here, you know, because 2 down. This is just interesting right here. 2 down, 3. Ooh, that's still messy. 15-minute bars. You know what I mean? You know, still messy in here because Powell's talking. So anyway, this big scenario 3 on the 15-minute right at 11 o'clock. As soon as Powell started talking, it went down, back up. All right, off to the races. So you always want to find people that do what you like. You know what I mean? You know, I want to trade like that. You know what I mean? And then actually learn what they're doing. All right, talk with them. Learn what they're doing. All right, don't just try and copy their trades just straight up. You know what I mean? Learn, actually talk with them, learn what they're doing. This 2-2 reversal right here is really good because that's what I like to see. A 2-2 reversal on the daily that reconfirms what we're seeing on the week, that they're buying on the week. All right, and the weekly continuing up that reconfirms what's happening on the month, that they're buying on the month. All right, that's the kind of trades I like. That's the kind of stuff that gets me excited. That's the kind of stuff that goes, all right, let's make a trade plan. There is another way of trading the strat where you're going from the smaller time frames to trigger the bigger ones. I like to trade things that are reconfirming. All right, so SPY back to the highs. The chat is rolling. What's going on? What's going on, Vincent? I see you out there doing great things too. We're gonna look at Cat Tractor. He had a really good trade on Cat Tractor. Freaky Trout is in the house. What's up? Let's see here. Marlon, I got in the Walmart 155 call. Last week I was up 25%, didn't take profit. Now I'm down 20%. Yeah. Good morning, Aaron. What's up, Savage Ad? Yep. For the kids in the back. Yeah. The kids in the back are back there throwing spitballs. You know what I mean? The kids in the back are us. You know what I mean? Everybody else out there that talk stocks and they talk about technical analysis and they talk about their wedge and their volume capitulation and then they go through all the news and they talk about all the, really detailed stuff. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying they're going to talk 20 minutes about one stock. We're going to go through 50 of them in about in a half an hour. We could if we just jam through. Okay, we can go through a lot of stocks really quickly because we're looking at the condition. You know what I mean? What's happening on the month? What's happening on the week? What actionable signals do we have? Yep, move on. That's what I'm saying. So we're always making fun of it. Once you learn the strat, all these charts become hilarious because you're like, oh, you thought that was going down. 2-2 reversal back up on the day, in your face. Reconfirming what we're seeing on the week and the month. Booyah. That's what I'm talking about, the kids in the back. We're back here having a good time. We ain't up here, being all mopey and everything like that. Crowd. Yes, Angie's prerogative talking about coin and Roku. Yep. Banks were crazy this whole week. Banks were awesome. What's a good way? Let's see. Okay. All right. There's a lot of questions in here today. You guys these are big, long questions today. Put your question put a question mark before your question. That way I can see it in the chat. And then anybody else in this chat, we're all together. We're working together, right? We are the Strat community. So if you see somebody that has a question and I haven't gotten to it yet, go ahead, help them out. The strat is repetitive, all right? So that is SPY, all right? That's S&P 500. Dow Jones back to the highs. I'm going to have to redraw this broadening formation, but again, it's all the way back up to the highs. Dow Jones is really good this week. You had the healthcare really pushing this up big time, all right? So, and it has taken out all the stops on the week, all right? We end the week at 363.05. 363.05. Cat Tractor was also pushing this up too. A lot of interesting tickers pushing this back up. We'll look down deeper into that. QQQ. Ah, man, they don't like you so much. QQQ ends as that's a doji. I wouldn't call that a shooter. That's a doji on the week. Is that a scenario 3? Yep, that's at outside bars. That's a scenario 3 on the week. And, so we'll see what they want to do. Currently inside month and possible possible. Is that inside? I don't think that's inside. That's a 2. No, that's inside. All right. Possible 2-1-2 reversal back up for Monday. All right. So we want to look at this. We need to look at QQQ. Why is this lagging so much? Probably because Microsoft and Apple and other things going back to the lows. People taking profit on that. All right. So we will look at that. Utilities. This is a defensive position. Excuse me. This is the defensive position, but it did go 2-2 reversal back up. They're buying. All the sectors were green this week. Very good. Very good. If you guys are still in Duke from last week, I'm sure Duke was still going well. DUK, yep, still going strong. And then another one, utilities. So what? Going back to the highs. That's what's so what. All right. Still good on the month. All right. Still good. 2-1-2 continuation up on the week. Again, that's what I like. We know there's buyers on the month, and then the week comes in and says, we're still buying. All right. So the buyers are still buying. Reconfirms what we're seeing on the month, and then the days. All right. The days are reconfirming what we're seeing on the week. 60s are a little choppy. 60s are a little choppy, but depending on where your stops are, you could still be in that. You know what I mean? You don't have to hold through all of it, but if you had your stop right here, you had your stop right here, your entry, it was at 69.91. Excuse me, 69.91, 69.91. That'd have kept you in, all right? Just keep your stops even. That'd have kept you in, all right? Still good. Still good. Still good. Retail went bonkers yesterday. Retail went nuts. 2 up on the month, 2-2 continuation up. 2-2 continuation up on the month, 2-1-2 continuation up on the week. Wow. I mean, it did go bonkers yesterday. Again, there's that hammer in force. All right. There's that hammer in force, 2-2 reversal back up. If you remember, SPY also had that same hammer. I see the chat rolling. Give me a second here. You see that same hammer on SPY right here. All right. So when you're looking for that, you're trying to make that watch list for the next day. All right. Or for the next week. That's what we always do. But you're trying to make that watch list for the next day. You're like, okay, hammer on the day. Let me go through the sectors and see what else is matching up with that. All right. Right. And then Thursday, that was XRT retail. XRT. All right, hammer on the day. All right, so if that hammer goes in force on SPY and the hammer goes in force on XRT, I'm looking for anything taken out. Yesterday's highs in retail. You had DICS was a good one. You had DICS, DKS, boom, back to the highs. All right, you even had all the goofy names too, like Boot. All right, Boot, back to the highs, kick him in the butt, all the way back up, 2-1-2 reversal back. Yep, 2-1-2 reversal back up right here. All right, back to the highs. All right, so and now it's 2 up on the month. Boot, is that going to keep going? It could. All right, but right for Friday, that was good. All right, for Friday from hammer and force right at 73.91, ends yesterday at 78. 45, that's pretty good. All right, buy some dang shares. We got Mr. Traveler out here. What's going on? How you guys doing? All right, you guys are talking to each other. Good. You guys are talking to each other. Let's see here. Choose one actionable signal combo, stick to it, and master it. That's right. Look for those tickers. Look in the trigger on the preferably higher time frames. That's Suave. That's right. I like that 2-2 reversal hammer in force right here. This is what I like to trade. All right, that's what I'm talking about. I know where to get in. All right, as soon as that hammer goes in force, and I know where to put my stop. All right, if that stop's way too low for me, if you're trading options, you're like, that stop's way too low. I don't like that. Tighten it up. All right, you might get stopped out, but if you get stopped out and it sets back up, get right back in, and then put your stop back where it was. All right, you don't go. Oh, I got stopped out. I'm gonna put my stop down here now. you know, because, you know, you don't want that, because then, you know, now you're just asking for a bigger loss. You don't want that, all right? So keep those stops tight. Keep those stops tight. There's a lot of good things going on with Strat, with options trades out there. People are saying, you know, I have to watch my words here, but there's some good strategists out there talking about buy time. Buy time on your options if you're trading options, all right? I like to trade those. I like to trade common shares, all right? I don't have to worry about time and Vega and Delta and everything else. But buy time on your contracts if you're going to trade options, okay? Buy time. So, and let your winners run, all right? So, that's XRT retail, tech. We know tech's going back to the highs, all right? We know tech's doing that. But tech ends. I wouldn't call that a shooter. That's a little ugly thing. That's not a shooter though. Let's make that bigger. That's not a shooter. It's just this little. It's definitely going to open up inside week next week at 185.57. Are they going to start taking profits? Right now, you might have a dip here or there, but not really. They're not really dumping anything right now, all right? Again, we're aware of exhaustion risk, but we don't really, we're not afraid of it, all right? So if you remember our QQQ chart, the QQQ chart also had this hammer and it didn't go into force. XLK, same thing, all right? Inside, all right? Inside, 212, possible 212 reversal back up on Monday, all right? So that's set up. It goes in force above 185.91. The chat, I love the fact that you guys are talking today. What's going on, JP? What's going on in the house? All right, yep. You guys are doing good. When the hammer goes in force, is that your entry point? What if the day after the hammer is a gap up? All right, yes, that is my entry. All right, if this hammer goes in force at 185.91, that's the entry. Boom, you're in. All right, that's the entry. If it gaps up, anybody got a gap up on the hammer? I'm trying to think. If it gaps up on a hammer, let's see if we can find one real quick. I don't want to spend too much time trying to find a hammer that gaps up. You definitely don't want it to go down too far. You could still work that hammer. Again, I don't want to waste too much time trying to find a hammer. There's a hammer. There's a hammer that gaps up. See, the strat is repetitive. If you got a gap up like this, all right, here's your hammer. It goes in force, but the next day you got this gap up. All right, you could still find. This is actually a kicking pattern. This is a kicking pattern where the sellers and then everybody who was short selling, anybody who was trying to short right here. Definitely ill-timed shorts right here, all right? Everybody, as soon as this thing opened up at 181.23, all these people are losers now, all right? So you can still take this hammer, okay, hammer in force, it's in force, you can still take that at 181.17. You can do that. Or you can drop down to a smaller time frame, like the 60 or the 30, and look for a reversal back into the green. All right, if you're not comfortable with taking, all right, it's a gap up. We know gap ups, when there's a gap up, it could reverse back down. I'm not comfortable taking this right up, right at the jump. I'm not comfortable doing that, all right? Well, then drop down to the 60s. Look at the 60-minute chart or the 30-minute chart and look for a reversal back into that, all right? All right, if you're not comfortable with that, that's how you can do that. There's a lot of times, and it's been happening all year, where you have a reversal and then there's a gap that kind of messes up your entry. You're like, oh man, now I can't get in. But just be patient, all right? All right, so there's that gap up. There's that gap. It does reverse back down for a little bit, but then you have this hammer right here on the 3. That could be your entry, all right? Now, it does go back down on the later on in the day. But depends on where your stops are at. You could still be in that, all right? Kind of choppy. This is a mess right here, actually. If you were in this thing and you just held through that and you didn't get stopped out, good for you because it kept going to the highs. But you had just as much evidence that this thing could go to the lows. But you definitely want to, if it's 2 up on the day, you can drop down to the 60s, find an entry into that. back into the green. All right, back into the green. Actually, this is for the day. All right. Yep. That would have been your entry for the 14th, and it would have ended up. But it would have ended right here. This would have got you in that 2 up on the day, and then just kind of got nasty up in the 60s. So maybe not the best example here, but that's what you could do, definitely. Let's go look at that 60, those daily charts. Yep, that would have got you in. But then the very next day it was kind of crappy. But then so if you wouldn't have got stopped out, you could have held on to that. You know what I mean? I'm just showing you, if it gaps up, go down to a smaller time frame. If you're not comfortable with just taking it right there, those kicking patterns. Some people aren't. Drop down to a smaller time frame. Find an entry into that. Find a reversal back into the green. That's why we use that time frame continuity. Okay. That's why we want that time frame continuity. Yeah, sellers got cooked on that gap. That's right. Sellers got cooked on that gap. They were like, now it's the time. Now's the time we're going to short this thing. We're shorting it. And then the very next day, boom, all these guys, losers. All right, losers. So that's what I was talking about. You got to know where your stops are. If this thing gaps up like that, with options, especially options, you guys, it is important to buy time, but you also have to know where your stops are at. And I'm not going to speak on how you got on how Suave. I know you're out there, so I'm not going to speak too much on how you guys trade at all. But you got to know where your stops are at, because if you're like, okay, now's the time to start shorting this thing right here, all right, and then it does this, you know what I mean, and then okay, I got time, and it goes up. You continue, you got to know where your stops are at. There's no evidence to show that this is going to the downside, all right? But that's why you guys, I know you guys do good things. So that's why we always look at these higher time frames, the weekly and the monthly, all right? So I'm definitely not implying that you guys are just, buying stuff and just holding it. I'm definitely not implying that. Got to know where your stops are at. That's XLK. TTOs, yep, Wade, JP's out there, Wade, let's see here, so that's XLK, not necessarily a shooter, but it definitely is ugly right here on, that's what that was, that line was for the weekly, boom. All right, so we're going to see what they do here. Are they going to continue to the highs? All right, right now there's no evidence it's going to the lows. XLE slow. That's just a laggard right here. Right now opens up inside month. It did go hammer and force. It did work. It took magnitude, but you had to take the target right at 85.74. It didn't. This was not a good. XLE not doing that great. The rest of the market's going to the highs. XLE on the daily chart trading sideways. All right, not doing. It did trigger, but not doing much. All right. Not doing much. We'll see what they want to do for. There's no actionable signals for next week. That doji thing is not. That's not an actionable signal for next week. So, got to be careful. Got to be careful. But if it does go 2-2 of reversal back up on the month at 87.67, you got 92.56. So we'll see what they want to do. But right now, that doji week gives us no reason to believe XLE is going to do anything next week. So, wait, preaching them 2-2 reversals. Okay, I have to. Yep. I'd have to go back and look at what JP's talking about on those 2-2 on those triangle layouts. Heck yeah. All right, trying to get through these sectors. We'll go through, and then we'll start going through individual names. IBB with biotech. It did go 1 bar. It's not a 1 bar rev strat. This is the 2-3 up. Here's your dailies. Here's your 60s. Biotech. All right. Again, all the sectors are going to the highs. Healthcare was really good. You had a outside day on November 30th, 3-2 up. All right, 3-2 up on XLV. Again, it is 2-1-2. It is now 212 continue, excuse me, reversal back up on XLV and healthcare, right? Here's your weeklies, here's your dailies. No actionable signals. Look at this one. Is that a Momo hammer? Maybe. I would like to see that just a little bit more up in here for a Momo hammer, but we could get some continuation back up on this, back up to 133. It's Labu season. Someone said it's Labu season. JP said it's Labu season. I've seen that tweet. Yep. Biotechs. All right. So then, you know, if you want to, you can go down to your biotechs. Where you at? Boom, IBB biotechs, and you're going through anything that looks exactly like this main chart. ABBV was a great this week. It did trigger hammer on the month, kind of went back down just a tad, but it did trigger to the hammer up on the month for a 2-2 reversal back up on the month. We want this to re-trigger above 143.95, definitely. No actionable signals on the month. On the week or the daily, but that it is in force on the month. So we want to see if this thing keeps going. ABBV. All right. And then you go down to all the other ones. ACAT, is it doing it? Not really. All right. Nope. You know, so this one's a good one. AGIO, that could be a possible. AKBA, we'll see what happens here on the month. Right now, no. No. So you don't need a scanner. That's what I'm pointing out now is you don't need a scanner. You just need the watch list of all the holdings in this ETF. ALNY, this one could be a good one. It's a lot closer to triggering the 2 up on the month, and you have a possible 3-2 up on the week. For next week, AMGN, this one has been good. No actionable signals, but for next week, but this one has been good. All right, a lot closer to going 2 up on the month at 275.57. All right, and you can just go down all these other ones. BIIB, it does have a hammer on the week, but that month, ugh, gross. All right, I'm trying to get some good ones instead of going down. Edit, working it. All right, edit's doing great. All right, so that's what you can do. You don't necessarily need all the scanners, but if, you know, I got some if you need some. ANCY, no. Biotechs, we need to see if we got to find the winners in here in biotech. There's a lot of good stuff and there's a lot of messy stuff in here. So you got to go through biotech. You got to go through those. Let's see here. VCell, VCYT. VRTX, that's usually, nope, VRTX, not a good one. All right, Voyager, what's this one doing? It is 2 up on the month. All right, 2 up on the month. So we'll see. Is this going to keep going? Back to the broader averages, and then we'll go down. XLP with consumer staples. It's still good. All right, cheese, ketchup, you like that slow moving stuff. It's still good. Still good. All right. It's about that time. Let's look at your guys's tickers, and let's look for some stuff for next week. Jason, you were talking about AMD. AMD was messy. I know AMD was a mess. You did have this on. It's inside month. All right. After all this on November, great. And then on the weekly, all right, it's doing this. Doji. It ends as a doji on the week. Now it's definitely going to open up inside week next week. Are the sellers going to keep going in this? It could go 2 down, all right? It could, but it also could. This is a doji, all right? Little doji piece of crap thing. They don't know what they want to do here, all right? There's some profit taking going on in here. If this thing continues up, you know, we definitely want to see if this thing gets back up to 132. We definitely want to see that 132. We want to see that, but you know, right now. We need to see who's going to be stronger, the buyers or the sellers. You do have a possible 2-2 reversal back up on AMD on the day, all right? And that goes in force at 121.48, all right? 121.48, and the magnitude is 124. All right. So again, you're gonna have to ask Suave, and then ask Suave, and also ask Vincent about buying time in your options. Okay. And that's why I said I don't want to speak too much on what they do, because I trade common shares, and so you definitely want to talk to people that do what you want to be doing. If you're trading options on this and they say buy time, what are they talking about? All right, and get with them. So right now, possible 2-2 reversal backup. Were you trying to go long this thing or short this thing? Jason, you still out here? If you're trying to go long this thing and you got shooter and force, that shooter and force did go well for one day, and then continued down, took out all these stops, never, and then moved back up on the 60s. The sellers got what they wanted. Possible 2-2 reversal backup. If that 2-2 reversal backup goes in force, that's going to put you at 124. 124. It's going to be about right there on the week. All right. 124-ish. All right. So it's going to put you, it's definitely going to open up inside week, but then it's going to move up. All right. It's going to move up. So that's going to put you in on an inside week. I necessarily don't recommend trading inside weeks, because anything stuck inside like that is a consolidation. I don't want to trade as consolidation. I want to trade something that's moving. Let me hold on a second here. Oh, come on. What are you doing? All right. I was trying to give you a little fake bar in there, but it's not working right now. That's going to put you up in here, but that's definitely going to open up inside week. All right. And then is that hammer on the daily going to, is that 2-2 reversal on the daily going to bring this up about right here? All right. All right. Now, ICT people are going to say, I love trading inside weeks because, this and that. All right. I'm just specifically talking about the Strat right here. AMD, possible 2-2 reversal backup, all right, on AMD. All right, we're looking at it. JC is still learning. Yep, still learning. I entered early and it went against me. All right, entered early to go short or go long. And then we'll look at all the others. They want to look at Apple, HD. They want to look at Marna. Yep. Always wait for the actionable signal. That's right. Oh, okay. I see now, Jason. You want to short this thing. Got in early. That shooter did go in force at 123.52, and that sucker went all day on that day. Here's your 60s right here. Outside bar. You must have. Would you get in the day before? How far did it go against you? Because this thing just definitely ripped all the way down to the downside, and then continued on a little bit more the next day. It's good that you cut it, but if it re-triggers, and it's good, you're like, okay, they're selling it on the 60s, they're selling it on the day. This is still good, Then you set your stops. And trust your stops. All right, still learning. All right, but definitely you wanted to wait for this shooter to go in force. You don't want to get in early. You want to go, okay, now it's in force, 123.52. That's where I'm getting in at. You got in the day before down here, the day before, and it gapped up, and you're like, what's happening? And then it does all this. All right, so So definitely wait for that shooter to go in force. Wait for it to go in force. All right. Then start trading it. All right. It didn't set a stop. All right. Yeah. Right now, when I do trade options, or definitely when I trade common shares, I use those stop market orders. Stop market orders. That's what I like to do. All right. I want to get out. If it's working, I'm in now. If I want to get out, I need to get out now. All right. Let's see here. People want to look at Mara. Boom, back to the highs. It is 2-2 continuation up on the month. If that keeps going, you got 1731. No actionable signals for next week, but it's still going, still good. All right, still good. Mara, ain't no problem. No problem. Still good. Mara. Lily has been going nuts it's been going nuts for a few months. All right, for a few months now, just chopping around. You got to remember that Lily is at all-time highs. All right, now if you want to talk about exhaustion risk, this is actual exhaustion risk, where there's no more stops to take out. There's no more stops. It's at the highs. All right, it's at all-time highs. There's no more stops to take out. Where are we going? So what you need is, you can still work it, but what you need is, you need some corrective activity. You need it to go down a little bit so you can work it back up. You know, you need to go down a little bit so you can work it back up. But, you know, because they keep buying Lily, all right? But you got to remember, this is at all-time highs right now. Right now, currently it's not, but it's at the top, all right? So you're looking for reversals. If this thing still wants to go up, you're looking for reversals to do that. Reversals that will do that, because you see your daily is trading sideways. Trading sideways. Bam. Let's see here. Hold on. This is where that broadening formation keep you out of trouble. I would draw it down here, but I want to emphasize this. You got your broadening formation. All right, and then you could clearly see Lily just trading sideways in the middle of all of this. All right, because if this, from top of this to the bottom of this is an outside bar, and all of this is stuck in that. All right, so Lily not doing, and you can see your inside week and the slight 2 down on the week last week, but you can also see it right here on the week. It's all, these 2 bars are stuck in this. All right, and then this inside week stuck in here. All right, so Lily is chopping around, but you got to remember Lily's at all-time highs. All right, so if you're buying and holding from way down here and you're just in, that's awesome. But if you're trying to day trade that thing, or even weekly, trade weeklies on that, this was good here, not so much here. Now it's all just kind of chopping around. All right, they're trying to see what they want to do with Lily. People are taking profits, and other people want to stay in. All right. Palantir, not so much a turd anymore. It's moving back up. All right. Not so much a turd anymore. Compound 3 bar. Yep. Compound 3s. Gotta love them. Gotta love them. All right. Palantir. Possible. Nope. Let's go to the week. Inside month right now. Currently inside month. And Palantir has done a lot to get through it's finally moving back up. All right, and you got a possible 322 for next week, goes in force at $20.33, and the magnitude is 2183. All right, so if you're in here from down here, this is a good possible adding to your position. All right, and then push your stops up. But yeah, Palantir, so far so good. So far, they like Palantir. We've been calling Palantir we've been calling it turd for a long time because look at this. Palantir is going to be the brand new thing, and then it just did all this for through 21 and 22. You just did all of this, but 23 has been good for Palantir. So all right, we'll quit calling it Palantir right now. We'll quit doing that so far. We'll quit doing that so much. Yeah, I was looking at MSTR. I was looking at this one. You guys have been telling me about this on the weekend shift, and honestly, I have not been messing with it. But this one has been good. It is. It did go 2 up on the week, but it's not done. It's not an exhaustion risk. All right. It's continuing. All right. Opens up inside month. Your next target, if it continues up on the month, is 576. The next one is 743. All right. Right now, buyers are buying it. All right. I'm not saying, we want to pick actual targets. We don't just want to say MSTR and go in the 5,000. We want to pick actual targets. Will it get all the way back up, way up in here? Man, it could. It did trade there. But right now we're looking at 575 MSTR. This would have been good to hold back in October, to get in on back in October, right at 369.37 and 369. Yep. What was it? I got 368. 368. Now trading 527. All right. And with something like that, you don't need to buy. You don't need to buy options. Buy some shares. Buy 2 of those things. Buy 3 of those things. That's like that's $118 profit was just from there. You know what I mean? You could make money with common shares. you don't need the YOLO options all the time. All right, you can make some money in this thing. Let's see here. Palantir setting up the 322 up on the week. That's right. That is right. MSTR doesn't trade well in those stop orders. I got cooked last week. Big spreads. Okay, yep. You got to be careful with those spreads. All right. I don't have the buy and the bid and the ask on these charts, but yeah, you'll have to look at those spreads. Ooh. All right. Good point. Good point. Let's see here. BIG, big. BIG. Let's see here. Big Lots. You know it's on sale if it's on the floor. You go to Big Lots and there's something on the floor. There's like a whole pile of like whatever it is, Santa Claus, Santa Claus, all these little ornaments. If it's on the floor, it's on sale. That's it. That's all I'm saying. If there's a whole bunch of socks all piled up on the ground, those are on sale. Big Lots going back to the highs. It is 2-2 continuation upon the month at $6.38. This was really strange to see it go all the way down as far as it did, but it did it. All right, they hated Big Lots. All right, this 21, 22, 23. All right, so now trying to work its way, trying to get back up to 697, and the next target after that, $10. All right, 1021. All right, 1021. You could start a position in that, just a few shares, and then just keep adding to it. All right, just keep adding to your position, and then honestly hold it forever. As long as you don't get stopped out, you can hold that thing. Oracle's good. Oracle's one we'll probably talk about on like a yearly wrap-up or something like that, because Oracle was hammer and force on the year. All right, still good. It went in force at $89.99. All right, anybody who did that, good for you. All right, you got in that sucker at the beginning of the year and you worked it, and you're still in it. Now it got all the way back up to 120. It went all the way to 127.96. It is at all-time highs, though. Okay, you got to remember that. Just like I said with Lilly, it's at all-time highs. So there's not a lot of stops to take out. So you need that corrective activity to say, okay, it's correcting. All right, now we got some targets to work. All right, we're going to get back up to 127 right now. Inside month, closer to going 2 up on the month, and 127.49 is your magnitude on that. But again, it's at all-time highs. All right, it's in that zone. So we're looking for that corrective activity for it to get back up to 127. If you're in that, good. 2 down on the week. All right, I see what you're saying. I see why you brought this up. Possible 2 reversal back up on the week at 117.60, and the magnitude is 127. All right, I'm not saying it's going to happen all in 1 week, but it could happen. All right, it could happen. It's got to get through all of that. All right, it's got to get back up there. If the buyers have to keep buying if they're going to do it. All right, here's your days. Wow, days are going well. All right, really well. But you can see it's all, it's got to get back up through this. It gapped down, did some stuff. Now it's got to get back up in here. All right. So is it going to do it? We will see. Possible 2-2 reversal back up on the week. Oracle. All right. We'll put that on the weekly watch list for next week. We'll stick AMD in there for the daily as well. McDonald's going great. Still 2 up on the month. No actionable signal for next week. Is it what is that? Is that a Momo hammer? Yeah, I call it a Momo. I'd like to see it a little bit more up in here, but I would call that a hammer. Momo hammer. It goes in force at 268.94, and you know you got all these targets to take out up here. How far are they going to take this thing? All right, McDonald's still good. It's at the top. It's at the top of that broadening formation at 299.62. These are weekly charts, so McDonald's still good on that. Still good. Let's see if they keep working McDonald's to the highs. Not necessarily exhaustion risk just yet. All right, you have your hammer that went in force back in November. December still going again. The magnitude on that 2.2 up on the month is 294.18. All right, so let's see if they keep going on McDonald's. So far, so good. Nike's also been great. Nike, no actionable signals for next week, but still good. Still good. All right, here's your months. So that's the thing that's another thing you need to watch and pay attention to. All right, here's your 60s. Great. Nike. Wow, amazing. But okay, so you got your entry. You're looking at your charts and you're going, okay, it's got to be exhaustion risk because there's no way. There's no more targets to take out. The price is all the way at the top of the broadening formation on the week, and it's at the top of my screen. Like there's nowhere else it can go. But then you drop. That's why we look at the monthly charts as well. All right. See what this is just starting off. You know what I mean? Test the highs, test the lows, test the highs, test the lows. All right. And we're just now they're trying to see how far they can get this back up. Are they going to get this thing all the way back up to 129? All right. It's definitely going to get to 114, but is it going to get to 128.50? All right, 128.50, 129. All right, 129. Is it going to go? That's what they're trying to do now in this broadening formation on the month. That's what we want to see. All right, that's why we look at all these time frames. All right, all four of these time frames together. Let's give it Nike. All right, Nike. Let's see here. You're short. Short on what? I hope you're not short on McDonald's. And McDonald's. I hope you're not talking about going short on McDonald's. Stein setting up the yearly reversal. I made 1,000% on two different strikes last week. Took the lower time frame for the setup. Let's see here. Stein. Oh, yeah. Okay, I did see you talking about this, JP. All right. Wow. You took options on this? Very good. All right. 1,000% so far. No actionable signals right now, but hey, Stein doing great. Look at these 60s. Look at these dailies. Wow. It's all started. Let a Momo hammer at $11.19. Currently trading $16.40. Wow. Good trade. Stein. You said it was. We got 1 month left. Let's see here. Possible. This is the yearly chart. Yep, it's gonna. If it gets to $19.81, it would trigger the 2-up on the year. What's it doing on the quarter? For this quarter. All right, there you go. All right, this is just reconfirming that they're buying this thing. They're buying it. The top of this, if it keeps going on the quarter, again, that's that $19.61. Good luck with that. Hopefully it gets there. Let's see here. HD. Oh, and we need to talk about HD. Boom. All right. HD. Again, SPY. What did Dow Jones do? The Dow Jones also have a hammer? DIA. Let me see here. Hold on. Dow Jones did not have a hammer. But you see at the beginning of the show, I was talking about, okay, there's a hammer on the daily. Look for anything else that has a hammer on the daily. HD, Home Depot did have a hammer on the daily. All right, so they had an actionable signal. You had a reason to get in here. All right, you had a reason to believe that the buyers are going to become more aggressive in this thing. All right, I'm going to delete this so we can see the actual price. And this would be reconfirming buyers on the month, buyers on the week. All right, hammer on the daily to reconfirm what we're seeing on the week and the month. All right, look at that. Beautiful. That was amazing. That was amazing. And then Vincent's still out here. I want to talk about that cat tractor trade real quick. Cat. Was it HD or cat? Vincent, you still out here? Anyway, there's that hammer again. Hammer on the daily. All right, it goes in force, reconfirming what we're seeing the week and the month, that the buyers are in here. All right, this guy Vincent, I don't know if he's still in here. Oh, he got comments too. Okay, Vincent, I don't know if he's still out here, but he got a 10-cent contract on this thing, and it went to $2.10. All right, $200 on this thing. All right, very good. That was a good trade. Very cool. That, you know what I mean. He saw it. He went for the 10-cent contract up to $2.10. $2.10. That's awesome. That's a really cool trade. Cat tractor, very good. Let's see here. Apple, AAPL. There's that hammer again. Hammer in force on the daily. Didn't necessarily take magnitude out on the daily, but Apple still moving back to the highs. Possible 2-2. It is inside month. Possible 2-2 reversal on the week. All right. And now what we want to see is, are we going to take out these stops? Are we going to go back to all-time highs in Apple? All right. You do have an actionable signal for next week. Boom, boom. All right, definitely going to take out 192.93. 196.73 is your next target, all right, for Apple on the weekly. All right. Inside bar bandit crushed track cat on Friday. Yeah. Yes. Cat tractor was a good one. I'll go back to cat one more time. Yep. Inside and up on the week. Very good. Right here. Good. 212 continuation up. Very good. Cat tractor. And that's what I'm talking about, actionable signals. Last week, someone asked, what's the difference between actionable signals and reversals? All right, they're one and the same. They are. But the distinction of the actionable signal lets you know, that candle formation lets you know something's about to happen here. All right? Yes, this, let's see here. I'm trying to find one that just goes. You know, you do have a 2 down, 2 up. That's a hammer. I wouldn't. Let's see here. Let me try to find one real quick. You do have a 2 down, 2 up right here. You could say, okay, there's my reversal. 2 down, 2 up. That's the actionable signal. That's the reversal. That's the reversal you can get it on. Yes, you can do that. You know what I mean? Because it just went 2 down, 2 up. You know, there's another one right here. When the price takes out the highs, you know that's a 2 up. You know, you can take that reversal. You can take that reversal. But when you have actual actionable signals, you have that candle formation that says, okay, we have a reason to believe this is going to go. Now you can start making a trading plan. You can, you know what I mean? Here's my entry. Here's about where my stop's going to be. You know what I mean? Now you can plan for that. All right. I don't want to go too far, but you got SoFi. Oh yeah, it went 2 up on the week, 2-2 reversal back up on the week. No actionable signal for next week, but you got 2-2 reversal back up. That went well. SoFi, what's it doing on the month? It's an inside month right now, inside month. But if it goes in force for a possible 2-2 reversal back up on the month at $8.47, it could be good. Take out all these stops and get all the way back to $11. SoFi, let's see what they want to do with that. So far, so good. SoFi weekly reversal hit 1,000% on the $7.5 calls. Don't sleep on it. All right, SoFi's working. Don't sleep on it. Starbucks. Is it going to fall? Is this thing going to go? That's what he asks. Is November rise and fall of the price over yet? I don't know. Look at this thing. It's inside month, all right? Inside month. Starbucks. What do they want to do? Right now, no actionable signals on the week, all right? No reason to believe, there's no actionable signals. You're probably going to get it's going to open up inside, and you're probably going to get a 2-2 continuation down on the weekly in Starbucks. But then you got your day traders. Your day traders are going to say, look at this thing. There's a possible pivot machine gun on the daily, all right? And it could take out all these guys. Is it going to go all the way back up in here? I don't know. Right now, you could take out a few of these, all right? You know, if definitely we're looking for a 2-2 reversal back up on the daily, back up to 100, all right? But it's going to open up inside week. So watch your daily, watch your weekly. If you're shorting this thing and this thing starts blasting back up on the daily charts, you need to start making plans on taking your profits on your short position on Starbucks. Because that is a possible pivot machine gun on the daily. All right. But there's no action, but you know, they're not really, you know, if this thing was way up in here, I'm like, oh, you know, be careful, you know, because it's closer to taking out, you know, what's the next two? It's like closer to going 2 up on the month, but it's not doing that. It's stuck right in the middle of the month. It's stuck way up in here, way in the middle, way in the middle. It's not even up here. It's in the middle. All right. So be careful with this thing. All right. More than likely going to keep going down, but we need to watch these dailies. We need to watch the daily. Let's see here. We got yeah, Starbucks is nasty. Boeing's been great. I've been ignoring Boeing because it's been stuck on a mother bar for so long. But Boeing has been doing amazing. It went in force at $199.62 and currently trading $233.87. All right. Wow. All right. Amazing. Boeing back to the highs. All right. Back to the highs. Very good. The reason why I was ignoring it is because all these bars, all this price action is stuck in this thing right here. This giant mother bar from 2020. All right, from when COVID hit. All right, it's all this, even though it's awesome, all this is still stuck in here. All right, and that's why I've been ignoring Boeing. Probably shouldn't have, just because it keeps it's working. All right, it's working. You got 270. If it gets all the way back up in 242, and then if it gets back up to 242, it's going to expand its broadening formation and start working these guys up in here. And will it finally take out 298.07? Will it finally do that? Will it finally do that? All right. That's the question. On the quarterly, what are we looking at on the quarterly? Ooh, all right. Again, here's that big giant quarterly, you know, that mother bar. All these bars have been stuck in this. All right. This could be good for next year. Next year could be Boeing's year. All right. Currently, hammer in force on the year. It just triggered hammer in force on the year. You only got 1 month to work it though. But the magnitude of that is 278. 278. All right, so let's see what they want to do at Boeing. Wow. Wow. AI. Last one, AI, and then we're going to call it for today. AI. All right, AI, inside month. You do have an inside bar for next week. We'll stick that on the... Yeah, we'll stick it on there for the weekly watch list. AI, where you at? Weekly signals, bam, we'll stick it in there. And you just got to be careful because it's really choppy on these dailies and on the weekly and the dailies. All right, but if AI wants to keep going, you know, they're trying to take it back up to 33.45. All right, they're trying to get there. Possible 3-2 up on the month. Possible. It's getting there. It's trying. It wants to. It wants to. All right. So, and then we're going to skim down the 2 up on the month list from the Strat Soldier Easy Setup Scanner. Things that are 2 up on the month. We're going to do this quick because we don't have a lot of time. I know you guys want to do your thing, go live your life, close your laptops. Right now, 2 up on the month, ABBV. All right, ABBV, 2 up on the month, 2-2 reversal up on the month. Best Buy, 2-2 reversal up on the month, in force right now. DuPont, 2-2 reversal, hammer in force on the month right now. eBay, 2-2 reversal in force. EL, 2-2 reversal up on the month. ENPH, as junky and crappy as this one has been. I know Angie's Prerogative's working this one. 2 up on the month. EQR, 2-2 reversal on the month. Expedia, all right. It did trigger 2 up on the month, but we'll see what that happens. Goes with that. FCX, all right, is in force, 2 up on the month. All right, GM, 2-2 reversal on the month. What are they going to do with this one? All right, there's a lot in here, all right? 28 charts. Pacey, that's what I wanted to talk about. Pacey, 2 up on the month. Look at that thing. Look at that. It could do it. It could do it. I've been talking about Pacey for a few weeks now. Pacey, it could do it. It could do it. I thought that was hilarious when I saw that as well. ROK, 2-2 reversal up on the month. Let's see here. Skyworks, 2-2 reversal up on the month. All right. TAP, 2-2 reversal up on the month. TDY, 2-2 reversal on the month. Let's see here. VRSK, 2-2 reversal up on the month. X-Ray is also 2-2 reversal up on the month. That is that healthcare or biotech? I want to say healthcare. But 2-2 reversal up on the month. So that watch list is out there on Twitter, and you see it here. All right. You can pause this. You can pause this video and go through all these and see which ones you want to work for next month. ABBV, definitely something we want to watch. Is this going to keep going up to 150? All right, definitely. So now you got a watch list for the month, which is good, and you got some stuff for next week. All right. Oh, Tesla. Dang it. We wanted to look at Tesla. Tesla's a mess. All right. Tesla possible rev strat to the downside on the week, but it also possible 2-2 reversal back up on the day. We want to see what they want to do with that. All right, Tesla's been a mess. They did not like that Cybertruck back to the lows. That 2-2 reversal, 2-1-2 continuation up on the week did go well for me and others, but you had to take your profit that day because it went right back to the lows along with the rest of the market. All right. So that's what I'm talking about. Get in, set your stops, and then respect your stops. All right, respect your stops. Push your stops up until you get stopped out with profit, and stick to the plan. All right, stick to the plan. This is the Strat Soldier. Go check out Stat Trading. Learn how to trade options with them. Check out Sarah, Strat Sniper. Check out Alex. Learn how to trade some options. Learn how to learn that domino effect. All right, taking those smaller time frames and trading on the bigger ones. With me, I'm trading common shares, and I'm trading the time frames are reconfirming each other. All right, so both ways are legit. All right, both ways are legit. Thank you everybody for being out here. Go check out thestratsoldier.com, where I have my execution course where I talk about trading hammers, shooters, and inside bars. And then check out my Strat trade checklist, where I talk about using those actionable signals to reconfirm each other. How many actionable signals do I have? What time frame are they on? Where am I at in the bonding formation? What's the magnitude? All right. Go check that out, thestratsoldier.com, and we'll get a webinar going here in December. All right, this is the Strat Soldier. You get to a point where you can check out your charts, go watch a couple other people, and then close your laptop. All right, close your laptop, live your life. All right, talk to you guys later. Peace.